y'all. Welcome to episode 7. As promised, I'm going to spend the first couple minutes of this episode quizzing my husband on his sports knowledge. Last week, we reviewed the Darius Miles case, an ex-Alabama basketball player who was arrested for capital murder. So the beginning of this episode is an extension of episode 6. And just a reminder to let us know what you want to hear or content you want covered by emailing info@blackgirlstruecrime.com. If you have a partner who is not into true crime but is into sports, here's your opportunity to connect and get them to tune in with you. Additionally, you can take it a step further and direct them to episode 6. Shout out to my sports heads. Y'all have unbelievable attention spans. So, let's get into it. Introduce yourself to the people, Robert.
R.O.B.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you questions that listeners have determined are expert level sports knowledge. And we ain't got all day. We got crimes to review. So answer timely and pass if you don't know the answer. You ready?
Let's do it.
What was the famous play that helped the Giants win Super Bowl 42 or 62 against the undefeated Patriots?
The helmet catch?
Bonus if you know by who.
David Tyree?
That's correct. What year did the New York Mets last win the World Series?
That was my birth year, 1986.
Wow. Which iconic player known as Clyde led his team to 2 championships in the 1970s?
Clyde Frazier.
Bonus points if you know what team.
New York Knicks.
Okay. Who is the all-time leading scorer for the New York Rangers?
The all-time leading scorer for the New York Rangers, Mark Messier.
That is incorrect. You want to try one more time?
The all-time leading scorer? Yeah.
You can pass.
No, I don't want to pass.
Okay.
Chris Kreider?
Incorrect.
Okay, so my last guess is going to be, if it's not any of those two, Adam Graves?
Incorrect. The answer is Rod Gilbert.
Oh, I don't know, Rod.
And there you have it, y'all. My husband, a true sports encyclopedia. Anyways, let's get back to why y'all came here today. Y'all, I love reading court documents. I realized that when I was looking into this case. You can read every article that every journalist or every major news outlet publishes, but nothing really hits like cuddling up to a 75-page plus court document. This could be because I'm a reader or because I'm nosy or really a combination of both, but baby, what's in those court documents is the keys, okay? Today we are reviewing the Commonwealth versus Sean Steins. Sean Steins is a 44-year-old man who walked into the Letcher County Courthouse, this is in Kentucky, and shot a judge in his chambers on September 19, 2024. The judge was an elected official, but so was the shooter. Sean Steins was the sheriff of that same county. This is not a case of whodunit. There is clear surveillance video that shows him executing Judge Mullins. This is an ongoing investigation and a court date has not been set yet, so there will certainly be a part 2 to this episode as more information comes out. The biggest mystery in the case is the why. Judge Mullins and Mr. Steins were noted to have worked closely together and were even friends in some reports. They were both respected members of this small community. So we are going to review some information on why he might have done this, and we will compare our theories as more details come out. But first, we're going to analyze the surveillance video of the shooting and the aftermath. So we have a view of Judge Mullins' office. The camera is pointed towards his desk, and the door to enter and exit is behind him. So when he is sitting at his desk, his back is to the door. At 2:26 p.m., we have 2 unidentified people, a man and woman, sitting opposite of where the judge would sit at his desk. They appear to be having light conversation. There's no audio here, but the gentleman is laughing, so it seems like any normal workplace. Stein walks in at 2:39 with another unidentified gentleman trailing in behind him. There are now currently 6 people in that room, including the judge and Steins. About a minute later, the 4 people in the room leave. In court documents, witnesses in the room report they were asked to leave, and Steins, quote, seemed mad. I don't know this man, but mad is not quite the word I would use to describe his body language at this moment. And I'm not a body language expert, but the judge appears to be very uncomfortable as the other people exit the room. So Steins is taking a seat across the desk from Judge Mullins, and it still feels regular. Steins gets up a couple times. According to court documents, he is checking the locked doors or locking the doors, but he isn't in the camera frame. When he's sitting, he still seems relaxed. He's leaning back in the chair. His hands are behind his head. His legs are comfortably crossed. I don't want to use the term tense, but it does seem to get a little heated when the judge is talking. Judge Mullins also starts smoking a cigarette, which surprised me in 2025. Not only is he smoking indoors, but he's smoking in a courthouse. But maybe the culture in Kentucky is just different. That's just very old school. And the cigarette is giving nervous energy. Even still, Sean Steins asks for the judge's phone, and he gives it to him willingly. Steins reportedly called his daughter from both devices for reasons still unknown. And then shortly after that, he stands up, pulls his gun out the holster, walks around the desk, and he opens fire on the judge. Judge Mullins tries to duck and take cover under the desk, and Steins appears to maneuver back and forth around the desk to make sure the judge is hit. Steins exits, and shortly after, someone comes in the room and realizes what happens. Steins surrenders himself and is promptly arrested after. So I'm going to try to offer some explanations for why this happened.
Number one, he actually is insane. This is his current defense. Multiple people, including family, friends, and colleagues, have been reporting that the days leading up to this, Steins was not himself. They reported very paranoid behavior. In fact, his behavior was becoming so out of the ordinary that he was urged by staff and coworkers to visit a doctor a day before the shooting to be evaluated. He was diagnosed at that visit with an acute stress reaction, but was released. He was noted not to be a danger to himself or others at that time, but as a clinician, you assess that information by asking the patient. So this is subjective data. Could he have felt violent but not expressed this to the provider on that visit? Sure. He was also triaged after the shooting by the detention center, where he was noted to be in an active psychosis. They are having to medicate him and even pepper spray him at times due to him being combative. According to court documents, he isn't aware of his surroundings or what has happened. I would imagine that PTSD has kicked in. You just killed someone in cold blood. That would traumatize anyone regardless of. Number two, our second theory is that he's a great actor. As a sheriff, he would have working knowledge of police procedure and even the insanity defense. He would know more than, let's say, the layman that putting on this act before the crime is committed may work in his favor. He would have a good idea on how to behave before and after. Maybe his motive all along was to kill the judge, and he is calculating in setting it up. His erratic behavior is performative. I mean, he shot Buddy in his chambers. That's making a statement. Our third and last theory, and this is where I'm placing my bets, guys, is that something nefarious is actually going on in that courthouse, and he was genuinely concerned for his and his family's safety, whether that be real or imagined. To quote my cousin Alex, just because it's a conspiracy doesn't mean it isn't true. And I think this theory resonates with me the most because I understand people who are willing to do anything to protect their family. After Stein shot the judge, he went outside as everyone is running inside, and staff are running past him because they haven't quite pieced together what has happened. But Stein turns around and comes back in to turn himself in, and when he does, he's very paranoid on the body cam footage. He's convinced that the courthouse staff is going to execute him. The energy in that clip was not giving insanity. It was like he knew something we didn't know. What's ironic about this case is that this crime occurred in the same place they are doing legal proceedings, so everybody knows each other. If this is a part of a greater conspiracy, we wouldn't know who to trust either. The prosecutor could be in on it, or even the other judges. Remember, this is a really small community. There was an active litigation of misconduct that was coming to light that involved someone who reported directly to Sean Steins, who was charged. And there are other reports and court documents that note the pressure this was putting on Steins, and even Mullins mentioning to someone that Steins was after him. Women were reporting that they were providing sexual favors for legal leniency.
And apparently there's a video of Mullins and others having sex with said women in his chambers. And that's how we got video footage of the shooting. Those cameras were installed because a separate investigation was cooking. So at this point, we don't know all the players and how everyone is involved. There's a lot going on behind the scenes here. This is a throw the whole court away situation. Steins could have killed him to try to conceal his own crimes, but I think whatever happened, he felt wronged by Judge Mullins. This is a story their body language is telling when they're having the conversation in the chambers. Y'all may read about this story, but this is why I really love court documents. It provides the most valuable information. It paints a picture that many players in the courthouse were getting paranoid because something or somebody was about to air out that dirty laundry. And some people cannot handle that heat. And unfortunately, Judge Mullins messed around and found out. There's never honor among thieves. When a trial date is set, we can compare our theories and learn more about why this happened. But for now, that's all. I'm signing out today, y'all. Peace, love, and life.